Okay, good morning again. Welcome to our discussion segment. And you very much know that today is Friday. It makes me very, very excited. Welcome. Well, today we're going to look at a very important topic. By the way, my name is Sijama, and we're going to look at preventing cultism among school children. I have guests that has joined me to do that. They are Onyi Edokwa. Onyi is a coordinator Young Couples Forum. Good morning, Onyi.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm good. It's good to have you here.
Me too.
Okay. And then I also have Reverend Mark Chooks Francis as a clergyman. Good morning, Reverend.
Good morning.
Okay.
Good morning, viewers.
All right, it's good to have you here. Now, you have heard the topic we're going to look at today. Was it 2 weeks ago? That's this video that started trending about what they call snake bites, giving the children mark in their hands and then perhaps their backs or some other parts of their body, we don't know, but they call it snake bites. They say it's in the primary school. And then we got scared. If this has to go down to us going down to primary school where we'll have 5-year-old children, 6 years and then up, then what are we left with? So this is why we say, let us look at this and see how we can prevent this ugly problem that is, raising its head in the society. Okay, Reverend, let me start with you. What do we do? How do we prevent cultism among school children?
Yeah, of course, we need to know what cultism is all about. Cultism is a menace to society, especially since it involves the youths who are supposed to be the leaders of tomorrow. That is why steps should be taken to eliminate it before it leads to the demise and destruction of the community. Cultism is evil. Cultism is a kind of secret society where people tend to offer what they cannot defend. So one of the best ways to prevent cultism is public enlightenment. There should be campaigns by government and non-governmental organizations to educate youth, parents, and other members of our society about the ills and consequences of cultism through mass media like radio, television, internet, social media, and what we're doing here today. People need to be informed, enlightened on what it would do, the harm it will cause. Cultism has no positive side to it.
Okay, I was actually going to ask Onyi Edokwa, how do people get into this? What do you think that leads children into cultism?
I will say, good morning again.
Welcome.
I will say that the common thing that normally leads children into cultism is peer pressure. And then another one is improper upbringing. Then another one is the hunger for power and to be in charge. Probably children that are being bullied in school or at home, and some point they felt they need to be in charge, they need to take charge, they need to stop that bullying. You see that child trying to have a say or to be an authority so that people will let him be, so that he'll be able to defend him or herself. Another one is trying to balance the peer pressure, then improper upbringing, and then, let me say, some people are just deceived into it, not aware, lack of knowledge about what cultism is all about and the vices that surrounds cultism.
Okay, how can improper upbringing bring about a child, venturing into cultism? When you say improper upbringing, how can that be a factor?
In child upbringing, so many things comes into play. And just like, just I will say I make reference to the scripture, the Bible, whenever because that's my own standard in everything I'm doing. The Bible said, bring up a child in a way that he should go, that when he grows up, he'll not depart from it. What you put inside a child while growing up matters a lot. If you are there to tell that child that bullying is not right, making that child to understand the implication of some things, planting the fear of God in that child. Do you understand me? Being there to show that child love. That child will not feel that he needs, the child feel protected by the parents or by the society, feel that he has the ability to defend himself without needing to be mean or to go extra mile by entering court to be protected. You've done well for that child.
Okay, that's coming from the family. Yeah, Reverend Francis, do you agree that child upbringing or the role of parents in bringing up their children has actually contributed to these children derailing by way of joining courts?
Of course, that is a major issue. If children are not, when I was like dressing up to come here, I began to see that sometimes parents either overdo this thing or they don't do it very well in terms of discipline to the children. They either overdo, some people are too hard on their children, and that is why they hide a lot. Some of the information that would have helped that child to grow, when a father is not there for him or the mother is too busy, that child will lose focus and then delve into cultism.
Okay, 1 minute. Somebody has been wanting to join us. Yeah, hello. Good morning.
Hello.
Yeah, good morning. Hello. Yeah, hello, good morning. Good morning. Turn down the volume on your TV set now so that you can hear me. Okay, let me talk to you off the mic, please. When you want to call, you put off the volume on your TV set, okay? So that I'll be able to hear you very clearly. You have not even told me your name. I think I heard you asking how can we prevent. That's why we're all here. So we need you to suggest ways of preventing cultism among children, okay? So but when next you call, make sure there's no volume on your TV set so that we can communicate clearly. Go ahead, Reverend.
So, if what she quoted is actually in the book of Proverbs 22 verse 6.
Okay.
When you train up a child in the way he should go, when he is old, sometimes too, when you try to train up a child in the way he should go, we can encounter problems like resistance. But you see, all you need to do is just stay on it. Just tell yourself, this is the right thing for me to do. Even if the child is not responding at that moment. I know of a guy who told me that the father did everything to, discipline them and, move them in the path of righteousness. But they resisted him. Unfortunately, the man died. Not because of the pressure of the children, but somebody was sick, along the line died. But they said now, after the demise of their father, they all began to see the world the way it really is and began to reflect on that training, on those things that their father had taught them. He said now that they hope their father knows that they have actually put to work what he told them when he was alive. So this is it. No matter the resistance you get from your child when you're trying to correct, discipline, don't be afraid. Don't give up. Don't be harsh though, because it has to be an in-between thing. It has to be with love. Just like punishment. If you want to punish your child, punish because you want to correct. Don't punish because you are the boss. Don't punish because you are a parent. You must show this boy or show this. Do you know my son is 80 years. He still kisses me till date. Once I wake up in the morning, the first kiss I get is from my son. He comes close and gives it to me. And the day he doesn't kiss me, I'll call him, sit him down and tell him, what is it that I've done now? Why didn't you do this? And then we talk. I'm very sensitive to their feelings. And I allow my children to be free. They talk freely, but they won't insult you. They won't embarrass you. But you can't hold them back from saying what is in their heart. I have taught them that to the glory of God. And then we also live by example, because it's garbage in, garbage out. Whatever you do, especially you and your wife, these children they are watching and they may copy. If it is good, glory be to God. If it is bad, oh my God, you will live to regret it. So that is why whatever we do, we must also try to live by example and make sure that these children are just very good.
Okay, thank you. I've just looked at the aspect of the family. Let's get to the school, because once they leave family, they are going to school. That's their next port of call. Okay, Onyi, how would the school now come in to help the family having laid the foundation of good character, good moral for the children? At what point will the school take over?
Thank you. School, that in schools, there's what is called rules and regulations in school. Just like the Reverend gentleman said, in training up a child, as much as we have to discipline that child, you don't need to be too harsh on that child. School, first of all, need to have rules and regulations which must be strictly followed. In their teaching, there is need to make the children understand. Once you step into school, there's something that is called induction. And in that induction, students are being taught the do's and don'ts in that school. I think there is need for school to be strict with it, in teaching them, look at, do this, do that, but in this area of cultism, please know that it is no-go area. And making it a no-go area, once you suspect or you say that a child is involved in it, there's supposed to be a strict measure in discipline, so that others will know that, as we'll see example, know that this is not a no-go area. Do you understand me? Then another thing is, there is need for school to make a child understand that that child is protected. Because one of the things that leads to this cultism is insecurity. Every child wants to be protected, but when you indulge bullying in school, those ones that are feeble, those that felt that they don't have security, those that want to defend themselves, there's this tendency that if there is secret court in that school, they easily identify with such society so that they will feel secured in the school. So when you make the school environment conducive for a child and make that child understand there's no need seeking extra security from anywhere. Do you understand? Any extra protection from anywhere. When you don't indulge children being bullied in school, it will help that child to develop confidence.
But that's the problem we have with the schools now. When something like this is figured out in a particular school, the school management will want to keep it down so that it will affect it will not affect their school by maybe parents withdrawing their children from school, or others not allowing their children to come. So there's this thing that they should in secrecy, that they don't want the world to know that this thing happened in their school. So what do we do with schools like that?
The truth is that I'm a PR professional. Okay. There is need, by profession, there is need to always try to maintain the image of that school, which is very essential. It's in trying to solve problem. It mustn't have to come out to the public and let public know that this is true, we are dealing with it. The school can decide to protect the image of the school and not say about that thing in their school. Do you understand me? Like, for instance, in this establishment, maybe something happened. To protect the image of this establishment, you try to shield it from the eye of the public. You decide not to discuss it in the public eyes. Do you understand me? But that will not stop you from taking all the appropriate measure within the system to ensure proper discipline.
Okay.
and to curb that thing. So the only place to have issue, I would say that is going to be an issue, is when the school shield it from the eyes of the public, deny it from the public, and still go back instead of discipline those children or taking appropriate measure to stop that from happening, or to investigate and to even see that whether that actually happened and what led to it and prevent it. They will not do anything. They will ignore that aside and just cover up everything. That one is totally wrong. But shielding it from the public eye and protecting the image of the school and still go inside within them to do the and deal with the issue is okay.
Okay, thank you. Now, Reverend Francis, I know that one of the problems we are facing in the society now is coming from the church. I'm sorry, but I have to say that because there's a way people look at the churches, that whoever goes to church is a good person. And now we have noticed that, or the society have started complaining that why we have this kind of level of moral decadence among young people is because that the church celebrates these people that make money, in a very unusual way, comes to the church to make donations, to build churches, to do a whole lot of things for the churches, and the church will now start giving them titles. And the young people will say, I know this guy is an occultist. And now, so if the church can accept him, why can't they accept me? Let me start indulging myself in cultism so that I will make much money and the church will recognize me. So, what is the role of the church in curbing cultism among children?
The Bible clearly says that you shall know the truth, and the truth will set you free. If a pastor refrains from preaching the truth, then some of these things you are saying will prevail in the church. The man of God, I have a problem calling everybody man of God. Like pastor, yes, anybody can answer the title pastor, though it is also scriptural. That's in Ephesians chapter 4 from verse 11. That's where you have all the titles, evangelists, teachers, apostles, and so on. But you see, man of God is somebody I feel has a relationship with God. He is not only there to preach and tell people what they are doing that is wrong. He's also there with God to listen to the areas of his life that he's not doing well. No pastor can say they are doing well in every area of their lives. They will be lying if they say that. So, but when you have this relationship with God, there's a place where the Bible says we call him Abba, Father. Aramaic word, Abba, my Father. In other words, we relate to God as our own Father, even though he is heavenly, but we can also relate to him as an earthly Father. He knows everything. He knows. So if you refrain from speaking the truth, you have to tell them. I know most times people are not comfortable with my messages because by the grace, I'm not trying to promote myself anyway, but I hit the nail on the head. I bring the social media, tear it into pieces, and tell them the path they are supposed to take. And just this morning, one of my daughter was listening to a music, because once you're listening to music, I ask you, is there any Jesus in that music? Is there any hallelujah in the music? Is there any amen? Is there any glory be to God? If I don't hear it, I know you are being worldly, and I stop you from listening to such music. So my daughter, they know what I stand for. One of them was listening to a music very unconsciously. She just loved the lyrics, and the rhythm. But my daughter was careful to listen to the lyrics, like what they are saying. And then she raised an alarm. This thing you're listening to will not help you. This is not a gospel music. If they had not been told, if they had not heard it from me, she wouldn't have been able to correct the younger sister.
Okay.
The pastor should preach the truth. The church should preach the truth. And then the youth should be saved.
All right. We'll take a break now to bring in a short video of this neck bite something, and then maybe we'll talk about it thereafter.
All right, so this is the snake bite. Now, count these students. There are 61 here we have here in this school. All right, now we have two. These children are below 15. Some of them are 15, 12, 8. You know, and this snake bite is is an session they do in the school. So if you join and you are initiated, you have to go and initiate somebody else, and then you are given instruction that anybody who insults you or beat you, you have to report to them. Children who then they will not send people to go and beat that person. So how did this thing happen yesterday now? A male teacher was almost beaten by a little girl, 14-year-old girl yesterday in Asaba here. You know, I don't want to call the name of the school so that they won't say I want to destroy somebody's business. But after this video, the Ministry of Education, we have to get involved to see how they can stop this thing that is going on now. Now, this thing happens not only in this school, it happens also in West End. In West End, it's West End Secondary School, Asaba. So now, check their fingers. You will see those marks there. All of them have this mark. It's called the snake bite. It's called the snake bite. Check. All of them have the mark. Now, what you see here is more than 61 students. Children, 61. Now, this one own. He said they scratched him there. After 3 days, there was no injury. So they have to turn his hand the other side, you know, to give him that mark. With paper. They use ordinary paper to, you know. So I even have to experience it. Now, see the video where I have to experience this thing too. I said, please initiate me too. Let me see how it is. And when the girl placed that paper, this paper on my hand, it was very, very hot. But I didn't get any injury. So the girl said, if after 3 days I didn't get injury, they have to give me another one again. You know? So now, who gave you this mark? She said somebody gave her. That one girl gave her the mark. And the trend continues. All the school. And this happened inside the classroom. You see the marks? So there are 61. It's not just ordinary injury. Some persons have this injury as ordinary, but these ones are not ordinary. So people who are saying on the comment section that it's an ordinary injury, it's not ordinary injury. It's called snake bite. That's what the students, that's what they said, you know, is the name. So please, check your children and start asking questions. Then some students said their brothers did the same thing to them at home.
Okay, we'll welcome you back. And that is the snake bite video that we wanted to show you. You see, virtually all the children in that school have been initiated. And that's why we'll ask the role of the school when it comes to stopping these children from involving themselves in cultism. How can almost the population of the school are bearing this mark and nobody noticed it on time? Okay, until everybody were initiated. It's a very horrible thing. Okay, we're still looking at the role of the church. What is the church supposed to do? I kept saying it, that there's a way they encourage this thing. You know that this person, you don't even know the source of his words. I'm coming to you, Oni. You don't know the source of this person's words, and you may have heard, na asikwano ya bulumado, na asikwano a ritualist, na asikwano an occultic man. You heard all these things. You see now, so what they're on, once he's in the church, his money is sanctified. Then this is the way the churches accept these people. So what stops us? Let me continue. What is the role of the church?
Honestly, I will start by saying that this is a very pathetic situation in the church. I, for one, this is one of the reasons why I don't know. I've not been comfortable receiving any title from the church, because when such things comes up, I always take time to ask myself, do I really deserve this honor? Is it coming to me on merit? And wherever in a church, any organization or committee, Once you to open that award of something or those recognition, honestly, I'm very uncomfortable with it. I try as much as I can to discourage it, because most often it will end up falling to the hands of those in manner. Sincerely speaking, they don't deserve it. So most people, when they are their antecedents, and because they are the ones that will bring money, church will always give them that recognition, which is one of the things that has brought us to where we are now. I can tell you, until church go back to the mandate of the church. I was discussing with somebody last night, and I told him that the Great Commission is to go and win souls. It's to go and prepare people for heaven. Do you understand? It's to go and make people fishers of men. But unfortunately, since the church dived into trying to do what government will do by building structures, we dived into politics to keep building one structure from another to another to another. Unending structure, and the souls are perishing.
They look for what to build. They
will pull down the old one and start building another one.
It's horrible.
Every church wants to have the church building is still accommodating people. It's still okay for people. People are still being content in that church, but they go elsewhere and they say a new one. They want to remodel. Is that what we are there to do? They want to build hall, they want to build the latest parsonage, and when they look at the compound, everything is already in place. They will divert to building one school or one structure. Some church now have police stations. I'm telling you, pure water factories, building high institutions. And when you keep doing all these things, there will be need for money. And when there is need for money, do you understand me? You look for a way to get this money. And how do you get it? By lying. By lying, by being deceitful. And by trying to bend the truth. Do you understand me?
Yes.
By trying to bend the truth. And we don't look back and relax and say, what is the implication of these things we are doing? The last time our dear governor, he was at Onitsha. He was talking to the churches about building structures, and he cautioned them that they shouldn't allow this to deviate them from the original calling of the church.
Okay.
Do you understand me?
You know what I asked them? That the Bible said that Abraham was going about living in tents, from one place to the other, and then saying that because he's looking up to a place where God built himself without bricks. Okay. So is this the same Abraham that was saying that Abraham blessings are mine? And you are building all the structures in this world. If there's nothing to build, they'll pull down the fences. This fence doesn't fit this church again, and they'll start another one. Collecting money from even the indigent women. Expand their church, you put one side. Why are we doing this? And once you do this, you need money. You will start, mixing your, being unequally yoked. I don't want to ask no Katalego. A marriage from there, still may invite Kenya Award.
Kenya Award is horrible, and this is one of the things that is encouraging these vices in the society.
It is. That's why I want us to look at it. Because
so I think
these children wants to get power. They want to get money because their role models are the guy in court too that has made it.
That the church recognizes.
The church recognizes.
And then look at it. Sometimes you see that some parents who are members of, who are court members, because of the recognitions given to them by the society, because of the power they control in the society, because even in offices in the church, some of them, I tell you, practically encourage their children to join cultism. Because they tell you, if you want to be recognized in the society, if you want to be recognized in the church, you need to go into this. And you see children being encouraged by parents to join cult. So there's need. The summary is that there's need for church to redress and go back to its original calling, which is nurturing, which is building people for the kingdom, telling them the truth about life, and inculcating morals in people. I'm born abo as na me yelu mmadụ ochi azụ because no omeli ihe dị agha and is the one ochi azụ no ka
for that they need
enye si na azụ just settle
enye because you he news ochi azụ
it was settlement.
I remember there was a time my husband was nominated for one award in the church. that time. So, but because one of the couples that was also nominated, the man was nominated with his second wife. When Munan got hint of that, my husband declined the award. I said, what for? Do you understand me?
This is an encouragement.
You said they are giving us I have forgotten, but something like exemplary couples, something like that. And you put other people to give them some exemplary second wife, and it's not as if that he had issue with the first wife, and he wanted the first wife, and the woman will not come to and start at the back. Why the man will not start the same seat with the second wife? After everybody will go home. Do you understand me? So what are you encouraging?
What is the example you're trying to set? Okay, let's look at, we have looked at the family, the church, let's look at the society generally. Reverend Francis, I know when we are growing up, if any man passes or any woman passes and see a child that is not standing in the right place or being where it's supposed to be, like they see you with a boy talking or they see you misbehaving, fake or tinny or next year, what if the animal next year or this cigar kind of a thing, the man will grab all of you and beat you before we're joining with your parents. Do we still have something like that?
I don't think so.
Now.
Because when you're an easy, when you we need to go back to the drawing board and pick up the things that we have lost. Values. What was the values? What was when you care about values? This is what should be done. Even people I used to know in those days. I'm sorry to really refer to the female folk. You know, sometimes they worsen matters. The way they sit and all that. Just because you have tight on doesn't mean you should sit like a boy. We know in those days. We used to know that ladies make Casey Anna in those days. But today, ladies just because they are putting on tight.
Okay, 1 minute, sir. Yeah, hello. 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 Yes. Good morning. Hello. Good morning. Okay, you're gone. Go ahead, Reverend.
So sometimes too, you know, the foundation has been affected. We need to go back to the drawing board. Bido maba ihe kwesi ka na-eme na ife kwesịrị ka na-eme. I politely try to correct children that are not mine in the public. You know, your attitude, some of them give you attitude. But nevertheless, this thing you're not supposed to, like some late hours, and they are very young. They are very young. Sometimes I'm forced to talk to them. Say, look, if you that was when will you tell your parents? Why don't you go home? Whatever it's too late, you know. So I still do it all, but then you really need to be very bold
cautiously
and courageous, and then do it politely as much as you can. So we need to tell people, when you see people doing the wrong thing, please speak out. Speak out. Come here, not far off. When they speak out, there are times when I want to correct people, even in public. I don't try to look at their faces because it's like they want to even slap you. You know, when you see, they give you this attitude like, who are you to talk to me and all that? I go out of that place satisfied that at least I have tried to make that difference in a soul, even though I was resistant. But it doesn't stop me from saying the truth. So we just need to go back to the drawing board and begin to do things the way they're supposed to be. I remember in those days, my father, did you know? Well, I shouldn't be saying this, but I was a virgin even till high school. Courtesy of my father. You know why? My father cannot, you dare not stand with a female. Doing what? You better hang out with your male friends. But female, my father go as far as warning you. Yeah? What is your name? Oh yeah? If I say, don't you have something to do at home? Oh yeah? Move. If you refuse to move, you will go inside, bring cutlass, and give you a chase. Next time, do you think you can come? You won't come back again. And so, because I said this before. If your children know what you stand for, you must have something you stand for. Then the society too will not give it to you.
Okay.
They will know that don't come around this man. No, if you come around this place, he's going to discipline you.
Okay.
So we should go back to it.
Thank you very much. We'll take a break here to bring in some people that we'll talk to on the street. When we come back, we'll look at the role of governments before we conclude.
Talking about cultism, this thing has kind of been something that's eaten deep in our present society now. And then generally, we can see that it's now rampant everywhere, most especially within our localities now, especially in our country. So, talking about cultism, how to curb the rate of cultism now, it has to start with sensitization to the public, private, and all aspects of our society. Then, if you have to start from the roots, from the family, the parents, ability to advise their children, socialize them well, make sure that they internalize the culture and values of our society in them, and not just what they saw in the movies or what they see or what they actually see on social media or newscast, podcast and other things. So probably from that way it's going to start from that family, which is the primary agent of socialization. Then it will now move to the school. The teachers will now have a role to play in this.
Time to time, you equally check the school, not leaving the job only for teachers to be doing it. You check the school, you collaborate with the teachers so that you have an effective result. Then the government equally do their own. Going to some strategic places that they know that they sell all these things. It does not fly from A. It's somebody that sells it. So government should equally help, provide the necessary things the students need, and equally do what? Get to the nip by picking those people responsible for all these things, because most of them are known.
I think that the foundational issue is because we're trying to solve an issue that is beyond physical with physical means. Now we're talking about cultism, right? And this is it's the act of selling your soul to the devil, whether it's a child or a young person or an adult. So I believe that primarily the first way to attack this issue is by praying. Now, the parents of these children who are getting into these things could begin shouting at these children, beating them and warning them and all that, but it won't stop there. When you're not there, with these children, they meet their young, their mates who tell them things that you are not privy to. So it is only in those times when you're not present that you're able to address those issues in the place of prayer first. So that even when you're not there with your child, that child is now able to, with the things you've told the child, stand their ground. But primarily, it is something that prayer will address. I know we're in a time where people underestimate the solution of prayer. They feel like everything is not about prayer, but it is the number one solution, because that's even where we get the wisdom to now address these things. Then secondly, as parents, I'm talking about for parents who have children or guardians who have young ones in their care, please find out who your children go with. In school, try to find out who their friends are. Who do they associate with? Who do they come back from school with? Who are their friends? These things usually start with association. So if you can first of all start by praying for them and then finding out who they associate with, it will help you, know where they are per time as well. And then parents should also liaise with teachers, because these things, from what I heard, these things are getting to schools now. So if parents can work hand in hand with teachers, don't expect the teachers to do everything for your children, and teachers should not expect the same. If there is this accountability means between parents and teachers, it will also help to eradicate, at least to dampen this issue of cultism in society. So I believe that these two things foundationally, there are lots of others, but if we can primarily start with these two, then God helping us to address it.
Okay, you're welcome back. You've heard them. Of course, you've also heard us. If you want to participate, there's a number on your screen. You call and then give us your own side of the story or profess solutions. That's what we are here to achieve. Yes, we have to look at the role of the parents, the role of the church. Now, let's the role of the school. Let's now also look at what government needs to do to ensure that we'll have a very clean society where children are not, how do I call it, nightmares to parents or to the entire society. Okay, you know, I got for a young guy, will be a mapoke because the maron on here. That kind of a thing. So that's what we want to look at now. And I'm starting with you, Onyi. What do you think is the role of the government in preventing cultism, generally in the society, not just in the schools?
Thank you very much.
Okay.
First of all, I believe and I know that governments already have laws in place concerning this issue of cultism. Is implementing those laws. Just like one of those people that spoke outside now said, that the enforcement agencies, they know where those people are. How are they being treated when caught, as in the act? There's need for the government to be serious in dealing with this issue of cultism. Okay, now there are schools where these things, all this snake bite of a thing. Some people said it's nothing after all, and that's why growing up, some people use cashew mark to do sort of things, all those things like that, and other people. Some people felt it's nothing, but actually, when there's an issue like this, I think there's need for government to seriously wade into that situation, carry out proper investigation to find out how truthful the thing is, and then look at how it can be handled. And we need for counseling to counsel those children. Why school is doing their own? Because I don't think there's still this. While I was growing up, there's something this department, guidance and counseling in every secondary school and primary school. If there's an issue, a child that they feel that needs special attention, you go there, you be counseled.
Are they no longer there?
I don't know if they are still there.
Because we made that in school.
Yes, I know. I made, and at some point,
guidance counselors. Yeah, that's what we call them.
I don't think they are still in school now. If there's an issue like this, there's need for government to go into the school system, find out, is it true? If it is true, how can we prevent it? Then how can we sanction the school for neglecting because I think for neglecting them?
1 minute. 1 minute, please. Yeah, hello? Hello? Yeah, good morning. Good morning. Okay, go ahead.
So how can they sanction the school for neglecting their responsibility somehow? Because it baffles me how in a school, about how many, almost all the students in the school had that mark. If it's initiation, got initiated. If it is just an ordinary, maybe playing, got that kind of mark on them without the school noticing it. It now took an outsider to come into the school and find out that that thing is happening. That means there's a level of negligence in the part of the school. I'm sorry to say this, but that's the truth. In part of the school, there's need for government to sit up in looking into what is happening in the schools. Aside the administrative part of the teaching aspect, trying to do your work as a teacher, you are there to look after those children when their parents are not there. Because from that school hour to the time the school dismisses, you are in charge of those children. In school, we pray also. There's need for prayers. Do you understand me? Then government to take that law concerning the secret court something seriously. The security agencies should sit up to their responsibility. Once those people are there caught, they should do something. And I believe there is need for people to know that they are doing something. And another thing, the aspect of teaching should not be neglected. Once in a while, something like seminars, workshops should be organized by government in schools. Ministry of Education should organize something like seminars, workshops.
Yeah, hello. Good morning. 1 second, please. Yeah, hello.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. Welcome. What's your name?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you very well. What is your name?
Yeah, good morning. My name is Samuel.
Your name is Sunday?
Samuel.
Okay. You're calling from where, Samuel?
From Anambra State.
From Taraba State. Okay, go
Taraba
ahead.
State, yes.
Okay, go ahead. Talk to us.
I just have a little contribution to see
Go ahead.
concerning this particular issue. You see, let's say the decadence of our society too is part of it, because even most of our leaders, they are actually cultists too. Whenever you take a little child, probably trying to correct that child, take them out, probably in a station or something, police station, before you know, somebody has to send a call to release that particular individual.
That's what he's trying to say.
The full work of the law is not being experienced on that particular person. As again before, I remember then when I was in primary school, my school, whenever they catch you in any occultic act, they usually take you straight to the station before you know that person is in prison. At times they might just say, okay, they will sentence that person to death by firing squad also. But these days you hardly find those things. Once someone is being arrested, taken to custody, before you know, a big man somewhere will call, release this person. So I can say the government people in government has a very bad, they play a very bad role in this particular act of trying to cut this cultism thing of a thing. Because virtually all of them, their hands are not clean.
Really? That's scary. Thank you. And that's a very big allegation. Thank you very much, Samuel, that called from Taraba State. Okay, so that's how can you ask government to help to curb cultism when majority of them are a part of the whole thing? But it's just an allegation because I don't know how you can just prove that. Okay, yeah,
Let's
you
not
were
go
saying
into that,
something.
okay? What I'm saying is that there's need for campaign. There's need for awareness. There's need for
and that's exactly what we're doing now. Hello, just one second. Yeah, hello. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm calling from Plateau.
What is your name?
My name is Simon. This is Simon.
Okay, Simon from Plateau. Welcome.
Yes, I'm very great. I'm very happy with the what people are doing on the media to work here.
Thank you.
Please, I don't know what you people what advice will do to the government, because the government is us, and we are not doing anything about it. And secondly, please, as you talk, most of the talks sometimes include languages, some of us will don't hear. Can you make it possible to be in English so that we can hear all our contributions?
Okay, sorry about that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Simon from Plateau. Okay. Yeah, Onyi, go ahead.
Okay, I was saying that there's need for awareness.
Of course, we are running off, so we are looking at solutions.
Solution. Let there be awareness in the churches. Let there be awareness in schools. Which churches should organize and teach children. Let them understand the implication of these things.
Okay.
Let parents on their own be there to inculcate good morals in their children. Nurture them, build confidence in them, and make them understand. Be there, show them love. Make them feel protected, so that they will not have as a mind to go and seek for protection, to feel insecure in the first place. The government should create awareness. Let these boys, let these girls know the implication of all these things. Children are meant to be loved. Our youth are meant to be the leaders of society. Or if they are being taught and nurtured, they will say that honestly is paid to be good. And then let us learn to live by example. Let us learn to, parents, let's learn to live by example. The people in government, let us learn to live by example. Churches, let us learn to live by example. These children are looking up to us. We are failing them. Honestly, we are failing them. The generation, the adult of this generation, we are failing the children. Sometimes I look back at the next 20s, I wonder what kind of adults are we going to have? Generally, the level of societal decadence is very high. And because adults are not doing what they are supposed to do, then growing up, in the street, you see a mother that is always there. When you're not getting it right, she will caution you. And your parents will even caution you for being cautioned. Yeah. But these times when you caution a child, the parents will come, and then you see a child knowing that the parents will protect her. Even when she's wise, she'll build up attitude, giving attitude to adults. And our churches are not helping. All these ministries and ministers that are giving false prophecies. Your neighbor is killing you. Your sister is out to men. When it's not true. That your sister that will help you to train your child. You'll be scared of her. And you'll be in front of that child castigating that adult. You'll be in front of your child discussing your neighbor. Do you understand me?
That she's a witch.
That she's a witch, that she doesn't mean well. When you're not there and the child is deviating and that adult is trying to correct that child, but because you have stayed in front of that adult, that's your child, to castigate the adult, your children will not take correction from that adult.
Exactly.
So there's need for parents to sit up. Adults, we are failing these children.
Okay.
We are failing these children. It's very, very unfortunate. And I want to give a piece of advice. Please, all those children that are in these schools, there's need for proper prayers on them. Their parents, whether that thing is just casual or whether it's initiation, I don't want to just be precise because I'm not sure of it. Do you understand me? To me, it's just insinuations because we've not carried out any investigation to ascertain that is actually an initiation. So whatever it is, there's need for those children to be prayed for.
Okay, thank you very much. Reverend, we are running off. Please, your advice before we go.
Yeah, well, we were talking about the government involvement, and there's what you call legislation. In other words, there should be strict and tough measures against any individual who is involved in cultism. Laws to prohibit students, adults involved in cultism should be put in place. By the time you deal with one person who is involved in cultism, others will learn and be very, very repentant. It is very, very important. Then I also want to talk to the pastors. Unfortunately, out of every 12, there will always be a Judas. We should always know that we're still living in the flesh, and men are bound to follow their fleshly desires instead of following God. We shouldn't allow it to distract us from the real deal. There are people who are preaching the truth. Men of God should preach the truth, whether they are speaking through the television, wherever, in the church. Say the truth. Say the truth, no matter what happens to, no matter how people feel about it. Say the truth, speak the truth. Parents, I also want to advise us, please, let's go back to the drawing board like I have always said. Let's put things in order. Let's bring back our values and uphold them. Let's tell our children the truth. Let's lead them in the right direction. All those who have put their Bible in one corner, please bring it out.
Okay.
Bring it out.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Reverend Mark Chooks Francis, a clergyman that joined us this morning to lend a voice from the church. Thank you very much, sir.
It's a pleasure.
Okay, and then Onyi Edukwa, coordinator, Young Couples Forum. Thank you for coming, Onyi.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I must say that you guys really gave us what we expected. But then when the Reverend was talking about among 12 you see one Judah, these days I think it's among 12 you see 11 Judas. 11 Judases. I'm telling you. But God will help us. Honestly speaking, we have heard it, the part of the government, the parents, the church, the school. It's a collaborative effort. That's what we need to do to stop cultism in our schools. That's exactly what we have dealt with this morning. I'd like to thank all the people that made it happen today, the camera guys, the floor manager, the director, the audio, and all the people at the MCR. Then my producer, Ifi Onachupu, that one is a bulldozer, that's what I call her. Thank you. It's been a very active week for us, and we thank God for our successful outing. And we pray that you join us Monday next week for fresh packages of Good Morning Anambra. God bless you. My name is Sijama. Do have a good weekend.